If your manhood has stopped working like it used to, if your mornings are quiet, your confidence is fading, and you're tired of acting like it doesn't matter, then listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you may amaze you, even startle you. You see, after helping thousands of men over the age of 60, I've learned that the single most ignored reason for weak erections is not low testosterone. It's poor blood circulation. And the solution? It's not a blue pill. It's not a costly device. It's not even a supplement. In truth, it's a simple vegetable that you can eat every morning, and within days, your blood flow, your energy, and your manhood can start to come back. My name is Dr. Barbara O'Neill. I'm a men's health expert with over 30 years of experience helping older men recover their strength, confidence, and vitality. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through a strong, natural answer, supported by science, trusted by real patients, and easy to find in every grocery store. Because when you begin your morning with this one food, everything shifts. Blood pressure balances, nitric oxide increases, oxygen moves right where it's needed, including down there. Most men don't know this. That's why I ask you to stay with me until the very end. I'll explain exactly how it works, how to use it, and why so many men notice changes in as little as 7 days. Before we get into the full method, take a moment to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss another tip that helps you take back your strength, energy, and confidence. And if this message connects with you, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to help you better. Let's start with the real reason so many men over 60 have trouble with weaker erections, and why it has much more to do with blood flow than with testosterone. 1. The forgotten reason erections get weaker after 60. I want to begin with something most men never hear. Not from their doctor, not from their friends, and definitely not from TV ads. And yet, it's one of the most important facts I've learned over my 3 decades as a men's health doctor. Erections don't just vanish after 60 because you're getting older. That's the story. The real reason, your blood simply isn't moving like it used to. I've had so many men sit across from me. Good men, strong men, men who've worked hard their whole lives, and they look me in the eye and say, "Doc, I think I'm just past my prime." I look right back and tell them, "No, you're not. Your prime is still in you. It's your circulation that's been forgotten, not your manhood." Your ability to get and keep an erection depends on one key system in your body, blood flow. More exactly, the flow of oxygen-rich blood into the tiny vessels of your penis. And that flow is powered by a gas your body makes naturally, something called nitric oxide. When you were younger, your nitric oxide levels were high. That's why everything worked so quickly, so easily, often without much effort at all. But after 60, your nitric oxide falls, sometimes by more than 70%. Your arteries start to stiffen. The inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less reactive. As a result, the rush of blood that once filled your penis like a balloon is now more of a small stream. You're not broken. Your body's just asking for support. And here's the part that hits home for so many of my patients. This change doesn't just affect your performance, it affects your confidence, your sense of self, even your emotional bond with your partner. The worst part? Most men are never told this is correctable, but it is. And in a far more natural, lasting way than you might think. Because believe it or not, there's a simple vegetable, one you can eat every morning, that helps your body rebuild nitric oxide and restart the engine that drives your erections, energy, and circulation. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what that vegetable is and why it's far more powerful than most pills you can buy. Second, the one vegetable that rebuilds circulation in older men. When I first found the power of this vegetable, I'll admit I was doubtful. Not because I didn't believe in food as medicine, but because it just seemed too easy. Could something so common, so cheap, really make a difference in how blood flows to the most important parts of a man's body? But then I started seeing the outcomes, and I wasn't the only one. My patients, Men in their late 60s, 70s, even early 80s were coming back after just a few weeks and saying things like, "Dr. Laura, I woke up firm again," or, "For the first time in months, I felt ready like I used to." And all they had changed was adding this one food to their morning habit. The vegetable I'm talking about is beetroot. Beets, the deep red root that often gets pushed aside on dinner plates or forgotten at the bottom of a salad bar. But hidden inside that plain vegetable is a compound your aging body really needs: dietary nitrate. When you eat beets, your body changes those nitrates into nitric oxide, the very same gas that tells your arteries to relax, open up, and allow blood to flow freely. What's amazing is how specific the effect can be. Increased blood flow doesn't just help your heart or your brain, it also improves circulation to your pelvic area, including the sponge-like tissue inside your penis that fills and expands during arousal. For older men, this is everything. You're not just improving your ability to get an erection, you're feeding the system that supports vitality, energy, and confidence. Something else I want to share, something personal. Years ago, I worked with a gentleman named Charles. He was 71, a retired engineer, and he hadn't had a full erection in over a year. We made one simple change. We had him start each morning with a glass of fresh beet juice, just 6 ounces. That was it. By week 2, he called me, emotional, and said, "Dr. Laura, I feel like myself again." That's when I knew this wasn't just an idea, it was real. Now, what actually happens inside your body when you eat beets? How does that nitrate become nitric oxide and restore blood flow where you need it most? Let's break it down, and you'll see why timing and preparation matter more than you think. 3. What happens in your body when you eat beets? Now you might be wondering, how can something as simple as a beet actually help restore the blood flow you had when you were younger? I used to ask the same question, but once you understand what's happening inside your body, it all starts to make sense. And honestly, it's a bit like watching a slow-moving wonder unfold right beneath the surface. Here's what happens when you eat beets. You're not just getting fiber or antioxidants, you're giving your body a direct source of dietary nitrates. And those nitrates are the raw material your body uses to produce something called nitric oxide. It's a gas, invisible and silent, but it plays one of the most powerful roles in your vascular system. Nitric oxide tells your blood vessels to relax. It tells your arteries, open up, let the blood flow. That's the signal your body has been missing. The journey begins in your mouth. As you chew the beet, bacteria on your tongue begin converting the nitrates into nitrites. Then, as you swallow, your stomach and bloodstream continue that process, finally turning those nitrites into nitric oxide. Within minutes, you may feel a lightness, a sense of better oxygen, and over time, if you stay steady, stronger blood flow, not just to your heart and brain, but to your lower body, where many men begin to feel the years catching up to them. I've had men tell me, "Doc, I thought I was done. I thought the best part of life was behind me." But after 2 weeks of morning beet juice, they're calling back, telling me they feel sharper, more energetic, and yes, more responsive in intimate moments. It's not just about sex, it's about identity. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing your body still listens to you, still answers. And here's something even more exciting. Beets don't just help with blood flow, they actually protect your blood vessels from damage, reduce swelling, and can even help lower blood pressure over time. That means they're not just fixing one problem. They're strengthening your entire heart and blood vessel foundation. But of course, for all this to work, you need to know how to use beets the right way. The timing, the method, even what you eat with them can make or break your results. So let me show you exactly how to make beets part of your morning and how to get the absolute most from every bite. 4th, real results from real men over 60. There's something powerful about seeing the science come to life, not just in clinical trials or textbooks, but in real people. And I can tell you with absolute honesty, some of the most rewarding moments in my career have been hearing the quiet hope return in a man's voice when he says, "Doc, it's working." Let me tell you about Mr. Anderson. He was 67 when he first came to see me. A retired teacher, soft-spoken, proud, but clearly weighed down by something unspoken. He told me he hadn't had a full natural erection in over 8 months. No morning stiffness, no arousal that felt complete. It was starting to affect his marriage, but more than that, it was changing how he saw himself. He said, "I feel like my body's betraying me, and I don't know how to fight back." We talked about blood flow, nitric oxide, and the role of diet, and I suggested something simple. I asked him to start his mornings with half a cup of fresh beet juice. That was it. No prescriptions, no pressure, just a quiet promise to himself. After about 2 weeks, he called my office. His voice was lighter, almost surprised. He said, "I woke up this morning, and there it was, not weak, not partial, solid, and I didn't need anything extra to make it happen." I could hear the pride returning, the dignity. It wasn't about performance, it was about wholeness. He felt alive again. Mr. Anderson's story is not unique. I've seen this play out time and time again in plumbers, accountants, veterans, pastors, men who thought their best years were behind them, only to find that with a little support and consistency, their bodies still had more to give. What I want you to hear is this: you are not beyond help. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for the right signal, the right support. And when that comes through something as simple as a glass of beet juice, it reminds us just how smart and strong the male body really is. But like I said before, it's not just about the beet itself. It's about how and when you use it. So now let's walk through exactly how to prepare and take it each morning to unlock its full potential. Timing is everything, and the next few minutes will show you why. 5. When and how to eat beets for maximum circulation. There's one thing I've learned in my years of helping older men restore their health. It's this: timing and consistency can make all the difference. You can have the right food, the right nutrients, the right plan, but if you use them the wrong way or at the wrong time, you won't get the results your body is capable of. And that's especially true with beets. Now, I know some men get overwhelmed when they hear about a new routine. They think they need to change everything overnight or prepare complicated meals. But the truth is, the way to get the most out of beets is incredibly simple. And once you feel what it does for your body, you'll want to keep going. Morning is the golden window. That's when your testosterone is naturally highest, your blood vessels are most responsive, and your body is ready to absorb nutrients. Eating beets on an empty stomach or drinking beet juice first thing allows your body to change those precious nitrates into nitric oxide far more efficiently. I've had men try taking them later in the day or after a heavy breakfast, and the difference in response is night and day. So here's what I suggest. Start with half a cup of roasted beet slices or blend a small beet into a morning smoothie. For those who prefer ease, a scoop of high-quality beetroot powder in warm water can do the trick just as well. You don't need much. What matters is that you do it daily before your first meal. One more thing I always share with my patients: avoid brushing your teeth immediately before or after consuming beets. I know it sounds strange, but the friendly bacteria in your mouth help start the process of converting nitrates into nitric oxide. If you use strong mouthwash or brush too soon, you might block the very reaction your body needs to boost blood flow. It's small details like this that turn a good habit into a great one, and a few extra inches of blood flow can mean everything when it comes to confidence, energy, and intimacy. But as powerful as beets are, they're not magic. They need the right environment to work. And unfortunately, many men unknowingly sabotage their results each morning by combining them with the wrong foods. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what to avoid and the surprising breakfast mistakes that may be holding you back. Let's talk about what not to eat in the morning if you want better erections. It's easy to focus only on what to add: the beet juice, the morning habits, circulation helpers. But over time, I've learned something just as key. What you take out of your mornings can matter just as much, maybe more, than what you put in. You see, I've had patients tell me, "Doc, I'm drinking the beet juice like you said, but I'm not seeing much difference." And when we look closer, we'd find their breakfast choices were quietly working against them. The foods they thought were safe or even healthy were actually narrowing their arteries, irritating their blood vessels, and blocking the very nitric oxide boost we were trying to create. One of the biggest offenders? Processed breakfast meats, bacon, sausage, deli ham. These foods are full of salt and preservatives that tighten blood vessels and lower circulation to your pelvic area. Then there are the refined carbs, white toast, muffins, pastries. These shoot up your insulin and crash your hormones, including testosterone. And too much caffeine on an empty stomach can raise cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which tightens blood vessels and makes arousal harder. Now, I'm not saying you can never enjoy those foods again, but if you're trying to restore your manhood, truly give your body a real chance, then the first hour of your day needs to support healing, not stop it. Instead of processed meats, choose a boiled egg or a small handful of nuts. Instead of sugary toast or cereal, try a slice of avocado on whole grain bread. These kinds of foods go well with beets. They provide healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals that feed your blood vessels and help hormonal balance. When you make that switch, taking out what clogs your system and putting in foods that nourish and protect, your body answers. Blood moves, the warmth comes back, and for many men, that first natural erection, after weeks or months, feels like life breathing back into their sense of self. But timing isn't just about food. It's about biology. There's a reason why I suggest doing all of this in the morning and not later in the day, because something strong happens in your body each morning that makes this the perfect time to rebuild your strength. And next, I'll show you exactly why the timing of your morning habits could change everything. Why morning matters more than you realize. Over the years, I've seen something powerful about men who stick to morning habits, especially those over 60. It's not just that their bodies get better, though that's true. It's that the mornings become a kind of quiet turning point, a taking back, a moment where instead of letting the day decide how they feel, they choose to set the tone with strength, purpose, and healing. Biologically, morning is a golden window for male health. Your testosterone levels are at their daily highest, which means your body is more naturally ready for stimulation, both in mind and body. Your blood pressure tends to be a little higher in the early hours, which may sound bad, but it actually prepares your circulatory system for action if you feed it the right support. When you eat nitrate-rich foods like beets in the morning on an empty stomach, your body is much better at turning them into nitric oxide. That gas, as you now know, tells your blood vessels to relax and open, letting oxygen, nutrients, and blood reach every part of your body, including the places that define your intimacy and self-belief. But there's something deeper I've noticed in my patients. When a man starts his morning with purpose, choosing to feed himself instead of skipping breakfast or grabbing something quick and processed, he begins to take back control over his health. It's a mental shift as much as a physical one. And for men who have felt powerless in their bodies for too long, that shift can be life-changing. I remember one patient, a 72-year-old former Marine, who told me, "Doc, I don't want a shortcut. I want a mission. I want a reason to wake up and fight for my body again." It started small, a glass of beet juice, a 10-minute walk, a better breakfast. Within a few weeks, he wasn't just having better circulation. He was sleeping better, laughing more, showing up differently in his marriage. That's what morning routines can do. They don't just heal the body, they ground the man. Now, you might be wondering, how long does it take before you start feeling these changes? When do the benefits really begin to show up in your energy, your performance, and your confidence? That's exactly what we're going to look at next, because the timeline of results may surprise you, especially if you've been stuck in the dark for a while. What to expect? The timeline for results. One of the most common questions I get from men when I suggest a natural approach like beet juice is this: "Dr. Laura, how long until I actually feel something?" It's a fair question, Because honestly, when you've gone months or even years feeling like your body is failing you, it's hard to believe that something so simple could start real change. And yet, I've seen it happen time and again. In the first few days, most men don't notice major changes in their bedroom performance, but they do notice something small, a little more color in their face, slightly better focus, even an easier time getting out of bed in the morning. That's not random. It's the start of your circulatory system waking up again. By day 4 or 5, that nitric oxide boost starts to build. Blood vessels begin to open more freely. You may feel warmer hands and feet. Some men tell me they feel lighter, like their body isn't working quite so hard just to get through the day. Then comes day 7. This is where things get interesting. A few of my patients have reported waking up with their first spontaneous morning erection in months. No medicine, no outside stimulation, just the natural result of blood finally reaching where it needs to go. And it's not just the physical response, it's the emotional lift that follows, a feeling of, I'm back. By the 2-week mark, many men begin to see clear improvements, stronger responses to touch, more steady energy throughout the day, even lower blood pressure in some cases. And if you stay steady for a full 30 days, it becomes more than a change. It becomes a base. I remind my patients the key is not perfection. It's consistency. You're not forcing your body, you're helping it. And when you give your body what it needs, day by day, moment by moment, it answers. And here's the best part. This isn't just about erections or energy. Beats are doing something much deeper beneath the surface. They're supporting your long-term vascular health, the very system that keeps your brain sharp, your heart strong, and your manhood alive. So let's take this one step further. What if this simple morning habit could become a ritual, a daily practice that not only improves performance, but helps you reclaim your identity as a man? Next, we'll look at exactly how that shift happens and why it's so much more powerful than just taking a pill. The morning ritual that takes back masculinity. There's something special about the quiet of the morning, before the noise, the distractions, the weight of the day sets in. For many of the men I work with, those early hours become more than just a time to eat or take a walk. They become a moment to reconnect, to remember who they are, to take back something they thought was gone, their masculinity. Now, I'm not talking about masculinity in the loud, showy way society often shows it. I'm talking about the quiet strength, the sure confidence, the calm knowing that your body still works, that it's still yours, and that you can still rise in every meaning of the word. For so many of my older patients, building a morning ritual around something as simple as drinking beet juice becomes a turning point. It's no longer just about improving circulation or getting firmer erections, though those things absolutely matter. It becomes about showing up for yourself. Feeding your body first thing in the morning says, I still care. I'm still fighting for me. And that message, spoken not in words but in action, starts to reshape your mindset from the inside out. I remember one man in particular, a 74-year-old widower who had spent the last few years in what he called quiet retreat. He didn't go out much, didn't feel like himself, but he committed to the morning habit every day. Beet juice at sunrise, followed by a short walk and a few deep breaths. After 3 weeks, he told me, it's not just physical, something else, something deeper. That's the kind of change we're talking about here. Because truthfully, it's not just about erections or blood flow. It's about identity. When you start your day with intention, with care, with power, your body begins to trust you again. And in that trust, healing begins. And there's one more piece of this I want to share, perhaps the most important of all. Because even with this morning ritual, even with the right foods and timing, most men still miss one thing. It's a simple truth that could mean the difference between short-term improvement and long-term restoration, and that's exactly what we'll talk about next. A final word from Dr. Laura. If you're still here with me, I want to take a moment to speak straight to you, not as a doctor, but as someone who's walked with thousands of men just like you. Men who've carried quiet shame, silent frustration, or a growing sense of distance from their own bodies. Men who've tried to laugh it off, tough it out, or simply accept that this is just how getting older works. But I'm here to remind you, it doesn't have to be that way. The truth is, your body is still listening, still answering, still able to change, even if the world has stopped expecting it of you. And sometimes, all it takes is one small, steady act of care, like adding beets to your morning routine, to begin that ripple effect of healing. I've seen it happen in men who thought their best years were over, only to find that strength and confidence was still alive inside them, just waiting for the right signal. I don't share these stories because they're rare. I share them because they're possible. And if you're willing to take that first step, not for anyone else but for yourself, then this simple habit could mark the start of a new chapter, one where you stop managing symptoms and start taking back control. But let me be clear, this is more than a routine. It's a mindset. It's a decision. Every time you drink that beet juice or sit down to a better breakfast, you're sending a message to your heart, your hormones, your manhood. I'm still here and I still matter. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to wake up with energy again? To look in the mirror and feel connected to your body again? To know that the changes you're making are not quick fixes, but real, lasting steps toward the man you want to be. And now that we've uncovered the science, the habits, the timeline, and the deeper reason behind this transformation, there's just one final piece left. Because if you truly want to lock in these gains and protect everything you've worked for, there's a powerful conclusion waiting for you, one that brings it all together and shows you what's possible when intention meets action. Let's finish this journey together. Conclusion. Let this be the first morning of the rest of your life. By now, you've seen the full picture. You've learned that the real reason so many men struggle with weaker erections after 60 isn't just about testosterone, it's about circulation. You've discovered that beetroot, a simple and often forgotten vegetable, has the power to restart nitric oxide production, restore blood flow, and bring life back to the parts of you that once felt lost. You've seen what happens inside the body when you eat it, how real men just like you have experienced deep changes, and how timing, especially in the morning, can make all the difference. You've learned about what to avoid, the breakfast habits that unknowingly hurt your progress, and the healing power of building a ritual, something that not only supports your body, but takes back your masculinity from the inside out. You've seen the realistic timeline of results, from those subtle early shifts to the bigger transformations that come over time. And you've heard my personal thoughts, not just as a doctor, but as someone who believes deeply in your potential to feel strong, capable, and alive again. So here's what I want to leave you with. Don't wait for a better moment. Don't wait for more motivation, more research, or another wake-up call. You have everything you need right now, the knowledge, the tools, and the choice. One small act, repeated each morning, can build a rhythm of healing that touches every part of your life. Your energy, your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of identity as a man. No matter how many years you've lived or how long you've felt disconnected from the man you once were, that version of you is still there, waiting, ready. Beats are just the beginning. Let this be the first morning of the rest of your life. You're not done. Far from it. You're just getting started. If this video spoke to you, if it helped you see your body in a new light, or gave you one small reason to hope again, I'd be honored if you gave it a like. It lets me know these messages matter and helps others like you find the support they need. Feel free to share this with a brother, a friend, or someone you care about. You never know whose life you might touch by simply passing it along. I also welcome your voice in the comments. Type 1 if you're going to try this beet morning routine, or let me know how your journey's been so far. I read every comment, and I learn from each of you. And if you'd like to support this channel and help us reach more men with real, honest, and hopeful health content, you can donate through the link below. Every contribution helps us keep these videos ad-free, trustworthy, and focused on what really matters, helping you take back your strength one day at a time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking your health into your own hands. You're not alone, and you're never too old to start again.